Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So we are on chapter 10. Today we'll be doing verse 32. And last time we did 31, which said, among the purifiers I am the wind, among warriors I am Rama, among aquatic animals I am Makar, among rivers I am Ganga. So with that we move to the next one. Sarganam adirantascha madhyam chevarham Arjuna adhyatma vidya vidyanam vada pravadatamaham. So we are going a little more subtle now, you will see. So Sarganam, among creations. I mean, when they're talking about creation of this cosmos, that's how you have to see. Adi. Adi is beginning. That's the name of my grandson. So beginning. Anta, the end. Cha, and. Madhyam, the middle. Cha is again and. Eva also. Aham, I. When Krishna Bhagavan says I, means I, that consciousness. Arjuna, O Arjuna. Atma Vidya, Adhyatma Vidya, sorry. Adhyatma Vidya, the science of self. It is same as Atma Vidya, and we'll see when we go more in detail. Vidyanam, among sciences. So among all the different sciences, I am the Atma Vidya. That's Bhagwan's Vibhuti. Vaad, it's यहाँ पर logic बोला हुआ है, मगर you will see Vaad में बहुत कुछ है. It's a very, very deep word, and we will go into it. It was very interesting when I did all the research, and I'll share it with you. So here it says logic, which also has a definite, meaning and all that, but we'll go more into it. Pravadatam, among controversialists, but it's a big word. I don't even know how to say it correctly. Controversialists. Among debates, you can say. When people talk to each other, argue, debate and all, when they contradict each other. So how to contradict उसमें भी एक science है. अपने ऋषि मुनि ने कुछ छोड़ा नहीं है, सब कुछ बताया है. Okay, I. So what Bhagwan is saying over here, firstly he's saying that among sarga means creation. Bhagwan says I am the Adi, Madhya and Ant. So beginning, middle and end. And here similar verse was there, verse 20, if somebody wants to later on go back and look at it. He said very similar thing with a slight difference. So there also he said that I am the beginning, middle and end, but he said Sarva Bhutanam, of all beings. So he was addressing, all the living beings. He is beginning, middle. That means Bhagwan is always with us. That was the connotation. Here he's talking about the entire creation. So it has gotten more broader, more subtle and all that. And that verse started with the previous one when he said, Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhuta Shayastita Aham Adishcha Madhyanscha Bhutanam Anta Evacha. तो वहाँ पर उन्होंने बोला था कि मैं सभी में स्थित हूँ, like a Atma. As a self, I'm in everybody. And then he's mentioned that he was the beginning and middle and end of all beings. And here he's saying Sargana means creations among all beings, middle and end. So entire creation, he's the beginning. So another way of looking at it, there are different angles you can take so that it kind of soaks into us what he's trying to say. That I was there before the creation started. Okay, he was there during, while it's their maintenance. And when the whole creation ends, it merges back into it. And we have talked about it many times, but this is a very important thing. So that's why we should, even if we repeat it many times, is good. And then some other insight into it, the symbolism and all that, and some other Swamiji's commentary and all that, Even Sarvapriyananji had a very interesting take on it, so I will share all that with you. So what does this Vibhuti shows us? It shows us the omnipresence of God. There are that famous 3 O's of God in every religion: omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. So this is omnipresence, entire cosmos, he pervades, that kind of thing we have to see. And then there were 2 words I had introduced earlier. It's called eminent and transcendental. Eminent, so it's like Yog and Vibhuti. Both are part of Brahman only. So how do we look at this? Eminent, Bhagwan is everywhere, but also transcendental. Doesn't get affected, that consciousness, by anything. So the both way we have to understand. And this, when he says Adi, Madhya, and Ant, that's what it kind of expresses. So another way to look at it is that Bhagwan is part of cosmos, and inside, outside, both. That's how we have to look at it, okay? So, and then some other take on it, that how Sarvapriyananji kind of brought out some very interesting point. And he said that this chapter is all about the glories of God. Look into nature and see the glory and power of nature, and then connect to God in meditation. That was the whole purpose of it. So he's saying that he thought that among the greatest glory of God is what? This universe, this creation. Because together we take everything. It's like you go to somebody's house, his entire house is his glory because he has put so much time into it. Something like that. So this cosmos is Bhagwan's house, you can say, So, and then somewhere I had read, which is such a beautiful thing, that, hey, somebody says, is God there or not? They said, this whole cosmos is a signature of God. If cosmos is there, that means God is there. Somebody created it. It just didn't happen, So that's how it is. And so the way Sarvapriyananji was explaining that this God in Vedanta is you have a Nirgun Brahma and Sagun Brahma, Ishvara, Bhagwan, or whatever you may call. And he's saying that any religion you take, they always will say that Bhagwan is a creator. Don't they say that? Christianity में भी बोलेंगे, and उन्होंने कुछ इस्लाम के बारे में भी एक interesting चीज़ बताया, which I will share, because most of us don't know about it. We only hear kind of a lot of negative stuff, but he said something interesting which I'll share. So he's saying that's one common thing in all the religion, that Bhagwan created this universe. And then he was talking about that in this particular verse, Bhagwan is saying, this is my glory. The creation is, and not only creation, it's like I'm there while the creation is there, and when it's going to end, I'm going to be there too. And most of the religion, either they talk about creation, or they might even talk about creation and end of it. But most of them don't talk about the middle. That's where that Advaita Vedanta comes in. Very interesting. God is with us all the time, And then he was talking about Islam, and the reason he was saying, because he comes from this order of Ramakrishna Paramhans and Vivekananda and all their lineage. So it seems that one of the monks in their order was a Muslim guy who started following Ramakrishna Paramhans. And he said that he knew Quran very well, and it seems that in Quran there are 99 names of Allah, which I also didn't know. Okay, and he said that if you say those 99 names, you will go in samadhi, because it's so beautiful in their own, Arabic or Farsi, whatever language, I'm not sure. So he said that one of the name is that he's the beginning of everything, and another name is he's the end of everything. So unme bhi wo end or beginning hai. But in Hinduism, we also focus on the middle, that Bhagwan exists while it is this universe is there, which was very interesting. And then obviously this example of a gold, we all have heard it 100 times by now in the class, but very relevant here. So I'll repeat it one more time because the example makes it clear. He said it's like a gold ornament. You make, say a gold necklace. And then so before the necklace was there, the gold was there, right? From the gold you made the necklace. And then while the necklace is there, the gold is there. Because either you can say it's gold or you can say necklace. It's just a form. but then gold has not gone anywhere. And then when you, in the end, you say, I don't want like this necklace, I want to melt it. So you not actually destroy it, melt it. What happens? It goes back to gold. Again, it becomes like a lump of gold. So that's how Bhagwan's role is, like a gold over here. And then if you go technical, which we have used these words, that Bhagwan is the material cause, and means whatever substance it is in the universe, that itself is Bhagwan, just like ocean and the waves. Waves is not different from ocean. It's made up of the same material. Same way, we have a hard time connecting to that, but that's the truth, that in essence, we are the same. And then everybody has heard of Brahma Sutra, right? Because they call it that Hinduism ke teen aadhar hain: Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutra. It's the foundation of Hinduism. And in that, the definition of God is exactly this. I think he said it was the third verse and all that, that from which universe is Bhagwan is that, or Brahman is that, or God is that, from which universe is born, in which the universe exists, and into which the universe finally disappears. That is called God. So he's saying this is a very good definition of God. If somebody says, who is God? You can tell this is a good definition. Okay, so this is, according to Sarvapriyananji, primary kind of glory, very important glory, that he is all three: existence, origin, existence, and dissolution. And this should be meditated upon, according to him, and that's what will make our mind, more pure and all that. So that's what this was. And then the next thing was very interesting also, because it's a little subtle subject, but we'll try to understand. He's saying, among all the knowledges in the world, I am the Adhyatma Vidya. So that's what. So when we say knowledge, all the worldly knowledge, and in today's world, there is a huge boom of information, with this modern technology. We all are kind of victim of it, I would say. And which is, in a way, it's a great thing. Sometimes it can be overbearing. So we can share information. He was saying, how instantly, one button, and these days, they have some kind of in WhatsApp, there is some kind of something called announcement. You can take your entire database, all the friends, and you can write one message and it can go to everybody in one shot. I've never used it. It's kind of a scary thing. but anyway, so, and I was just thinking about it that these days, sometimes I call it Google God. Abhi Google God bhi thoda purana ho gaya. It's like Chat GPT God. Kuch bhi मालूम करना हो, सीधा जाओ वहाँ पे फटाफट, and then some of the people found some mistakes in there too, so be careful. Most of the time it's good, but it's not really God, because there are mistakes in there. And then I was just thinking in my head that WhatsApp has become like a WhatsApp university, all of us have become the professors now, because we are सबको ज्ञान बांट रहे हम लोग फटाफट, एक क्लिक से फॉरवर्ड, चाहे खुद हम लोग फॉलो करें या नहीं करें, फॉरवर्ड जरूर करते हैं कि everybody should know this, just a little joke on the side. So there's so much knowledge, but what is the greatest knowledge? So greatest knowledge उनको आध्यात्म विद्या बोला है, knowledge of the self, knowledge of who am I, and then the Nikhilananji is very funny. He's saying, unfortunately, we don't know who am I. सारी दुनिया की बात मालूम पड़ जाएगी. We know about the whole world, but we don't know one who is knowing the world. I don't know about myself. Of course, if somebody asks who am I, say my name is this, I live here, this is my husband, whatever, we all say that, which is just name and form. They're not talking about that. Deeper than that, they're talking about. That's where otherwise somebody will say, why are you saying I don't know myself? I know who I am. But think about it, because this is a spiritual subject. So he's saying that the other way of looking at it, we know about everything, but we don't know about the one who knows everything. Who is that one? This is a paradox he was saying. And he's saying that most of the people, in the worldly sense, if they don't contemplate upon who am I and all, they will say, oh, I know everything. I'm the greatest, wisest. I got all these degrees and all that and all that. So, but you ask him, do you know yourself, who you are? He'll say no. So that's what it's coming back to. Adhyatma Vidya means, here Bhagwan says Atma Vidya, regarding the self. We call it self-knowledge, spiritual knowledge. And why did Bhagwan say spiritual knowledge or self-knowledge the greatest of all? Because if you know yourself, you will know everything. It's hard for us to understand that. It's like, suppose some scientist is trying to understand a phenomena. The more he goes to the base of it, that journey through that he will know everything. And that's what we were talking about. Remember when we said that some people get the siddhi to even convert some stone into a sugar because they know how to go to the molecular level. We can't imagine that, but that the whole, it's a scientific thing. So, and basically, if you say reverse, if you don't know yourself, who you are, then you don't know anything. This is just to understand. Or you will know everything in a wrong manner. How? Because if you go to the depth of it, what is real you think is unreal, and what is unreal you think is real. Ulta ho jata hai when you don't know yourself, like that. And then the way Nikhilanandji was explaining that if you want to know the secret of the world, what is the world about, what is it made up of, how does it function, and secret of God, or secret of anything in the world, you should know yourself. Because through self-realization, everything opens up. That's what we have to kind of meditate upon. And Bhagwan is kind of implying here that, look, I am the mystery, I am the secret, of the entire world. So if you know me, means when you know yourself, you will know everything. That's how it is. And then obviously the scriptures and Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, Upanishad, all give us the path and guidance how to ultimately know yourself. That's what it is. So, and he was just saying that this Atma Vidya is given in the form of a dialogue, because we are doing Bhagavad Gita and all that, and some more insight into this knowledge. And look, because I heard Sarvapriyanandji, so I will share some of the things that he mentioned, very interesting things he mentioned. That knowledge of the self, Adhyatma Vidya, is, we know that Atma Vidya, and he's saying that who am I is like a glory of God among all kinds of knowledge. And because he mentioned some other Upanishads, which eventually we might do, and one is Mundaka Upanishad. So in that it seems, because there's again conversation between teacher and student in there. So the student is asking the teacher that, tell me that one thing by knowing which I will know everything. Think of the question, okay? Because it's like, hey, I want to know. Somebody was saying that dunya mein, if we try to gain knowledge of worldly things, there is absolutely no end to it. You just take one subject and just one aspect of that subject, you can spend the whole life and you will not know everything. And then you will be so ignorant about other things. So the students are like, hey, tell me something by which I will know everything. Now, don't take this in a wrong manner. Okay? It's not like, they will have they become encyclopedia or something. It's a foundation of everything. That's what it is. And then the other way I was looking at it, when you connect to that higher, whatever information you need, it literally gets downloaded to you. Just like today with Chat GPT and all, if I have a question, I just put it, boom, in 1 second it gets downloaded. These people's minds are like that because it's connected to the total mind. Okay, so there is a science behind that too, which I'm not getting into it right now, but how will everybody know everything? That's why some of these saints can literally discuss on any subject because of that. So that's how you have to see it. So, and then in that Mundaka Upanishad, because I found this very interesting, the teacher told the students that there are two kinds of knowledge, it seems, higher and lower. So one is called transcendental knowledge and one is called the relative knowledge, because that will make it clear. What we see in the world is a relative knowledge. So the lower knowledge is called relative. And when we talk about lower knowledge, we are not undermining it, but from the spiritual perspective, it's considered lower and higher, okay? सो लोअर नॉलेज में सारे साइंसेस आ जाते हैं, जो भी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में वो पढ़ाते हैं, ह्यूमैनिटीज़, आर्ट, साइंसेज, फलाना टिकड़ा. एंड दीज डेज साइंस में भी कितने ब्रांचेस हो गए हैं, बायो साइंस एंड DNA का साइंस, पता नहीं क्या क्या, एंड नाउ दे आर गोइंग क्रेजी विद द कंप्यूटर्स. You must have heard of quantum computers, And I'm like, what is this? And my son was trying to explain to me. He went on for about 10 minutes. And after that, I said, look, I didn't understand anything. I'll come next time. मेरा दिमाग घूम गया, पता नहीं क्या क्या बोल रहा था. Like, he was trying to teach me about quantum. I could not understand anything. So anyway, so these are all the things. And so this is all the lower science, and he was just saying that in conventional religion also, whatever they talk about, it's kind of a lower knowledge. What is a higher knowledge? So higher knowledge is very simple. It's a knowledge which explains who am I. Okay, that is the higher knowledge. Brahma Vidya, spiritual knowledge. I am the spirit, or knowledge of Brahma, Brahman, science of Brahman, you can call it. So that's what. And then he said that actually speaking, at the core of every religion, it is there. This. Some people, they don't dwell into it. And it's interesting. I always tell you that I'm watching this show called Chosen about Christianity and Jesus and all. And there he made a statement. Jesus made a statement to his followers, the 12 followers that he had. He's saying, my Father and I are one. Okay. See, in that Christianity also they have it, but they don't talk about it now. But originally, Jesus did say that. Interesting. So he's saying that the other religions may not call it a knowledge of self. They may call it knowledge of God. That's how they will. But in our Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, that approach they take, which some people don't like it, but that's the approach they take. Tat Tvamasi. You are that. Okay, that's what it's saying. And he's saying that that which is the secret of the universe, that which you are is one. And then we, amazingly enough, in Taittiriya Upanishad, that's exactly the verses we are going to be doing. We did it last time, right? That the essence of me and the essence of sun is one. Sun is that Hiranyagarbha, the whole cup. Exactly same thing is happening. So that is the knowledge of self and knowledge of God. And then in Mundaka Upanishad itself, it says, because it looks like this is the main topic over there, the greatest of all knowledge, the first among all knowledge, foundation of all knowledge is the Brahma Vidya. Okay, that's why it is so important. And then when we may have forgotten, when we started chapter 9, Bhagwan said the glory of Brahma Vidya is mentioned in first 3 verses over there. Somebody wants to go back and see, And what does Brahma Vidya teach us? It shows us that who we are, and then the most important thing, what is the relationship between what we are studying and the Brahma Vidya. So the way to know it is there are various paths, okay, and that's where we can call it a streams of knowledge, okay. And these are the things that we talk about all the time. Everybody knows this. It's like the 3 paths are Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga. Sabne suna hai, right? And that's what Bhagavad Gita is telling us. So, and Vivekananda added one more, obviously. Call it Raja Yoga. And because I listened to Sarvapriyananji's lecture, so it was like he explained it in Vivekananda's way, which is the same. A very nice approach. He's saying that you can use 4 different methods according to him to find out who am I, and 4 different approaches, okay? One is philosophical approach, Jnana Yoga, which we are doing over here. Second one, he call it mystical or Dhyana Yoga, meditation, which is a part of Jnana Yoga also, but some people like to spend more time in that, okay? Then the third one, Bhakti Yoga, we have all have our devotional. And the last one is yoga of action, karma yoga, practical. Hey, I don't like to sit and meditate. I don't like to read too many books. I like to work. I like to do action. Okay, never mind. Do it this way. Okay. So there are some, since we are doing that, it's a good idea to have an overall picture of what these paths are and how they connect to each other and all. So then it gives us a practical idea. Otherwise we can, read everything separately, but what is the significance? So I thought he gave some very good insight. So he's saying that we can proceed towards the spirituality and one or more of these paths. Doesn't have to be just one. Hey, I am just going to meditate and get self-realized. No. You can mix and match for sure. So he's just saying that what has happened is that over our lifetimes, we have developed a certain kind of mindset, certain kind of personality from all the actions and the way we have behaved all in the previous lives and this life. And then we have certain tendency. So there is, we have one path that we connect to better. We all know that, right? So he's saying that one or more, you can say. You can't even change just one. So this is how we approach it. But he was just saying that when somebody has a guru or a teacher or you want to know how to proceed, he's saying a good teacher will actually guide you along the path which is conducive to you. He's not going to always say, hey, just do this, my one method. एक हिंदी में कहावत है ना, एक ही लकड़ी से सबको हाँकना. Like that's what the medical professions do over here. Okay, this is the range and then this is the medicine. Everybody fit in there. But तुमको सूट करती हो या नहीं करती हो, चाहे तुमको साइड इफेक्ट हो के तुम मरी जाओ. They don't care. Hey, FDA has approved it, I'm going to give you. No. Same way over here. That, what is conducive to you? What is going to be good for your spiritual development? That's what you choose. All the paths are true. There is no such thing as one is better than the other. It's like, hey, I want to go to New York. Should I go by car or should I take a plane or should I take a ship? Hey, it depends. How much money I have, what kind of mindset I have. Some people, उनको इतना घबराहट होती है प्लेन में बैठने से बेहोश हो जाएंगे वो लोग. I'm not talking about average person. That person, they can go by train. Person can go by car. And, some people, other way around. Or if you want to reach faster, whichever way you can say that, hey, you can't say that which transportation method is better. It's like what suits you, your pocket, your life, your mental makeup. That's how you have to look at these approaches too. So all of the path will take you to enlightenment, but everything may not suit everybody. And not every time it might suit you. That's what it is. So what Vivekananda ji or Ramakrishna Paramhans, their ideas were that you develop along your path for sure, okay? But also try a little bit of other paths. I thought that's such a fantastic approach because sometimes we get close-minded and fanatic about it, So that's what, suppose if you're primarily jnani, then also try to cultivate meditation, devotion, and all things like that. So that's what it is. And if you are a very dynamic person of action, I like to do all the action, and I can't sit and read the book, still try to read something or develop some bhakti. I thought it was such a great kind of tips he gave. And then he was just saying that so different capacities are there in people, and we should definitely not fight and become fanatic about all these things. I thought that was a very good point because sometimes that happens. Okay. And then he was just saying that in reality also nobody is exclusively just devotional or exclusively intellectual or mystical, So it's a mixture of it. That was, to me, very, very good point, And then one common thing is there among all paths that we should know, what they are trying to do. It may not sound like, oh, is that really true? But that's the truth. That they are trying to turn away from the world, away from it, and going towards spirituality. So Karma Yogi, what does he do? When we say he's trying to turn away from the world, no, he's doing action, but he's doing it not with selfish motive. Okay, because mera kya isme, mujhe kya milega, mere ko kya fayda hoga. He's doing it, for love of all being. He's developing that thing, and he's sacrificing his own desire for the good of humanity. That becomes karma yoga. Bhakti yoga is, okay, I have so many desires. I want this, I want that, and my emotional needs and all. I'm taking all that and I'm turning towards God. So that becomes a bhakti yoga. So that's again turning, And he was just saying that when you have 100 desires, about pleasure and relationships and Facebook likes, some people, how many likes I got? He was just joking anyway. Okay, so that he's turning to God. And then in Dhyana Yoga, what he's doing, he is trying to think about it. When somebody wants to sit in meditation, he is closing his senses from the world. Senses want to go see and smell and touch and taste. No. Shut all that in meditation and think, turn it toward God. That's what he's doing. So he's literally shunning all the experiences for that time, and he's trying to experience Bhagwan in his meditation. That's what he's trying to do. And Jnana Yoga, according to Sir Priyananji, is extreme. Because it's a little philosophical, it's a little deep, so just think about this. That he is taking the entire universe and he's calling it an appearance. Right? This is, जब भी हम बोलते हैं ना कि illusion है तो लोग घबरा जाते हैं. What do you mean? It's real. So उसका थोड़ा, I'm not going in a philosophical thing right now. Illusion means it's temporary. That we all agree now. And especially at our age. कभी कम बुलावा आ जाए हमको मालूम नहीं. Temporary. So he's taking it, like he's kind of focusing on the real nature and saying that this world is an appearance and a hallucination, whatever you want to call it, whatever suits you. So that's what he's saying. And then in that Jnana Yoga, he's rising above life and death both. Because we look at, life is great and death is, Baba, is so negative. No, he doesn't look at it that way. It's like two sides of the same coin. He's rising above both of them. And beyond life and death, who you are, immortal existence, consciousness, bliss, Sat Chit Anand. That's what he's trying to go towards. So I thought very nicely he said. So these all 4 yogas are leading to Atma Vidya. So that's the significance of it. Otherwise, okay, what is Atma Vidya? How do I get it? This is the connection over here. This is what glory of God is. This is what Krishna Bhagavan says is my glory. Meditate upon this. And then there were 1 or 2 points, like Shankaracharya ji mentioned that Adhyatma Vidya is the one which discriminates the self from non-self. It's the same. Okay? But these people, they come up one-liners, And he also said that it is the highest purifier and leads to liberation. So Atma Vidya is the one that... So no matter what somebody is studying in the world, everybody should study Atma Vidya according to Bhagwan, because it's the highest one. Okay. Any question on these 2 things? Because I talked so much, maybe you guys should say something. No?
Yeah, I want to ask a question.
Yeah, sure.
For higher knowledge, do you have to go through lower knowledge?
No, not necessarily, but this is what it is. This is how I will put it. When we say, do you have to go to lower knowledge? One is like a relative existence we have in this world, right?
Yeah.
Anilji. So if I have to earn money, sustain myself, I might have to study in the college and do all that. So from that perspective, I have to. And the other part of lower knowledge is when you are going towards the journey of higher knowledge, lower knowledge automatically comes under that, because you will know what the world is made of. So it's like a philosophical angle to it too. But, one thing is very important. And since we are doing the 3 Upanishads, it is very clear. They are not against worldly knowledge at all. In fact, they encourage. And I have seen that sometimes some of the Swamis and all, they said, I wanted to take sannyasa, and my guru said, no, go finish your university first and then come back to me. Right? So for the worldly thing, but to think that the worldly knowledge is all in all, that's where the problem is. Right? So that's why the older system was a Gurukul system where they taught them both simultaneously from the beginning. So that is the beauty of that. Nowadays, it doesn't happen. And that's why there's so much problems in the world, right? That the system doesn't exist. And sometimes as a parents, we try to, but we just take them once on Sunday. और अगर घर में कुछ बोलने जाओ बच्चों को तो सुनेंगे भी नहीं. Especially when they get teenagers, say, you don't know anything. So they don't want to listen to you. At colleges, they don't teach them. And then you take them here and there on Sundays. That's not enough, in my opinion, If that's why in India, the system was swadhyaya you do every day, literally. So that's what it is, I think.
And I think also, once you move into higher knowledge, then everything else you see as play of Maya.
Yes, of course. And there's nothing wrong with playing with Maya as long as you know not to get sucked into it, right? Right.
It's just a play, right?
Yes, exactly. So that's why if you lose something, you're not going to feel like so dejected, or kuch mil bhi gaya, to you're not going to be on seventh heaven. You know it's temporary. So enjoy it. Whatever Bhagwan, whatever is in your prarabdha, nobody's saying don't enjoy it. Share it, enjoy it by all means. Yeah, so I think you understand the context of it, and then so you will be more relaxed, hopefully, with this side-by-side Atma Gyan. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other comment or question? We can go to the last part of it, because that's a little, there's so much came out of it. I was like shocked, but we'll see how much time we have. Okay. So last one, he said that it says logic among all arguments, but there's a lot more to it, what he talked about. Okay. He said Vaad among pravadatam. Pravadatam, one word, if you say pravadatam, you can call it debate. Debate, which is debate is like, as long as we have the language, capacity to talk, चाहे family gathering हो, चाहे दोस्तों की gathering हो, चाहे political हो, होता है कि नहीं, debate चालू हो जाती है कि नहीं, सबके अपने अपने opinion है वगैरह. So उसका भी एक science है, कैसे debate करना चाहिए, कौन सी अच्छी वाली debate है, कौन नहीं, कैसा approach. I tell you, I learned so much while doing this time. I mean, I did it earlier more superficially. This time I really went into depth. So let's share some things with you. So basically, Bhagwan says that among all ways of communication, I am the constructive dialogue bolna chahiye with reasoning, and the word controversialist is like people who have two different opinions. Okay. And then there is a famous saying, we agree to disagree. In the end, let's be friends. Okay. Anyway, so going a little more depth. And then, very interestingly, when I was doing the research for this, different Swamis took a slightly different approach with this Vaad and Pravadatam and all that. But all of them had a very good points. So that's why I'm going to tell you 2-3 different, and then we will learn a lot from it. So among different methods of communication, Bhagwan says, I am Vaad. So Vaad एक है, संवाद word करके आता है हिंदी में. हम बोलते हैं ना, इसमें संवाद हुआ, dialogue. That's the meaning. So the way approach Nikhilanandji took, that a good dialogue between Shishya and Guru, when they are discussing with each other, like Bhagavad Gita or, other Upanishads and all we saw, they are discussing to arrive at the understanding of a particular thing. And here, since Bhagwan said, among all the vidyas, I'm the Atma Vidya, say we're talking about finding the truth, the ultimate truth or something, just giving an example. So how does they approach? The Shishya asks question and the teacher answer, and they together arrive at an understanding. And the Shishya may present his point of view and all, there's nothing wrong in it. So that's called a dialogue. And the importance is that when you understand what is a dialogue, when you understand what is not a dialogue, he said. Because when you say Vaad, what is not a Vaad? So he's saying that there are two words, and this word, all the Swamis use this, which probably you may have heard, may not have heard. Not very common words that we hear. So it seems that there are 3 different kind of debates. Vaad, Jalp, and Vitand. Okay. So Vaad is when you are having this healthy conversation and the goal is to find a truth. It's like bolte na ki jaise ki 2 woods are rubbing against each other and finally the fire comes out of knowledge. Huh? So yeah, they're rubbing. And what is Jalp? So the way he explained, each Swami explained Jalp and Vitand in their own way, and all of them had very good points. Jalp is when somebody is just blabbering without any rhyme or reason. That's one aspect of jalp, but there's a lot more to it. So it's like one person keeps talking, दूसरा समझ रहा है या नहीं समझ रहा है. Forget about it, when I went to college, like whatever 45 some years ago, one teacher was like that. And I went to a college in Mumbai, and there were like, in one of the subjects, there were like 200 students. And the teacher, he didn't care whether we listened or not. He kept going on and on and on. He finishes and he went. And में सब एक दूसरे का मुंह देख रहे. Did I learn anything? No. Blabbering. Huh? So he's saying that no communication is happening in that jalp. You are just doing your own publicity. Just one way of looking at it. You're just trying to say something, and that has become jalp. Okay, and then he's just keep on giving his own theory, what he knows, and nobody's listening. So उनको इन्होंने jalp बोला. And the Vitand is something very interesting, the way he explained it. And some others explained it in a more deeper way. Vitand, it seems, is the one when you don't have your own opinion, but in a debate, you are just trying to negate the other person. कि भाई इसको मैं इसका खंडन कैसे करूं? Bring all the logic, you keep talking about it. So that is Vitand, okay? And your goal is whatever you are saying is wrong. So when I take that approach, that becomes Vitand, okay? So he was just saying, practical thing, he's saying that दुनिया में जो सारे प्रॉब्लम्स आते हैं ना, झगड़े होते हैं फैमिलीज में, फ्रेंड्स में, या ये समझो ये आई वाज जस्ट थिंकिंग ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल डिबेट्स दैट हैपन इन दिस कंट्री और अदर प्लेसेस, वो जल्प और वितंड की वजह से होते हैं. दैट people just want to keep talking about their opinion. They don't want to listen to that other person at all. Shut them yourself completely off, negating constantly, And then he's saying that, so you're not really discussing, you're not trying to find some good solution, in the political debate for the country. Country को तो भूल ही जाते हैं. It's like, how do I, इसको कैसे नीचा दिखाऊं मैं? और खुद को क्या बोलना है वो भी भूल जाएंगे. वो बोलेंगे ही नहीं कि what is my glory, that they don't want to. दूसरे को खंडन करते हैं, that's Vitand. Okay? So it's like, this is but healthy dialogue is the one which help us grow. Hey, I may not know something, maybe I don't take this approach, maybe I learn your approach. So that's what becomes a healthy dialogue. So that's what Bhagwan is saying, that I am that healthy dialogue with logic, that when you listen to each other and come up with the truth. So some other insight into it, that Madhusudan Saraswati, he said that Vaad is a genuine dialogue aiming at truth. Jalp is the debate to win using tricks. किसी को नीचा दिखाओ. Or Vitand is, attacking the opponent without defending your own view. You are not even talking about what you are saying, And then Krishna Bhagwan, symbolism over here is for us to understand. Krishna Bhagwan aligns himself with Vaad. Because why? It is rooted in dharma, honesty, and clarity. Those are the three main things behind it. That's why. Because what it implies is that even spiritual conversation sometime, if it is motivated by ego or a conquest or to, kind of put somebody down, then it loses its value. I'm doing a spiritual debate, but if your motives are become like that, just to put the other person down, or in यहाँ पर बोलते हैं ना, अमेरिका में, arguing for the sake of argument. कुछ है नहीं उसमें, till the sun goes down, the person keeps arguing, So that's what it is. And then what Krishna Bhagwan stands for is Satyam, the truth, Vivek, discrimination, and urging seekers to engage in humble, truth-oriented inquiry. So that's what it is. So Sarva Priyananji, he told me, in his lecture, he told us a lot of historical perspective about Vitand and Jalp, and I'll share that because I found it very, very interesting. So he's saying that on one hand, Vaad is the best one, now that we saw, right? What is the, why did they indulge in this Vitand? And they did a lot of this Jalp and Vitand, okay? Last, he said, 2000 साल तक चला ये सब चक्कर, And so he gave some historical perspective. So he's saying that so many philosophies are there, so many streams of religion in ancient India and all that. So And obviously they had all different opinions, very strong ones, So but they also had some interesting aspect to those debates. They had extraordinary tolerance also, according to him, okay, and acceptance of each other, in spite of them arguing vehemently, So he's saying that they didn't agree on everything, and they intensely disputed and everything. And so he was just saying that in Sanskrit, he quoted something which I didn't write in Sanskrit, but uska meaning ye tha कि actually when it comes to saints and sages, it is not a sage who does not have an opinion. So हर एक sage और saint का भी एक opinion होता है, okay? That's how it is. And then, but उन्होंने एक system बनाया, और system क्या था कि hey, how to do the debate, because he said that everybody was like a master of their own philosophy, okay? And you know it. And then you think you are right, okay? And so they will say, okay, let's sit and discuss. Let's find out who's right. समझो ऐसे शुरू किया, okay? And then he's saying that it developed into some kind of extraordinary system, and it continued for 2,000 years or 1,500 years. And he's saying there are some tremendously famous debates in history. You have heard of the Mandan Mishra and Shankaracharya. Somebody had put that video. If you have not heard it, then you listen to that. उसमें वो famous debate के बारे में बताया है. And this, what happened with the debates is your insight into your own philosophy also became more. See, that's kind of was the thing he was talking about. And he's saying that in India, it was not like this, that, hey, if I don't agree with you, what you're saying, I'm going to just kill you. ऐसा नहीं था इंडिया में, okay? because दूसरे देशों में ऐसा हुआ है, right? When people came up with some new thing, उनको बेचारे को जहर पिला के मार दिया. जीसस को तो बेचारे को सूली पे चढ़ा दिया उन्होंने, और उसके जो फॉलोअर्स थे उनको भी कईयों को सूली पे चढ़ाया. I didn't know that, but now that I'm watching this Chosen, I learned that some of his 12 followers were all, उनको भी सूली पे चढ़ाया गया था बहुत बुरी तरह. एक को तो उल्टा लटका के चढ़ाया गया था. It was so horrible. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. So he's saying that thank God that did not happen in India. So there was nothing like, hey, because very interesting thing he said. He said everybody knew at their core, in their mind or in their heart, they had this instinctive understanding that truth is one. And the approaches are different. Okay, that's all it was. So they're saying that in Rig Veda, there is that famous line, and you must have heard of it, Ekam Satya Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. Means truth is one. Vipra means wise people. They speak of it in different ways. Okay? That's what it was. There's one truth. So, but even if you found that truth, we know that for certain, now that we have done a couple of Upanishads and all that it will be expressed and understood in different ways. Right? That's why every philosophy has a room for something. Okay, it has some value. Okay, so he's saying that if somebody is saying something different from me, and I don't understand it, I don't need to jump to conclusion and say, hey, that person is wrong. I don't need to do that. We can have a proper Vaad about it, because he could be right also, and it could be, like I said, enriching for me to know from a different perspective. And I think that's why in Vedanta and all that, the conversation or questions are welcomed, because sometimes somebody may ask a question you may have never thought about. And you might take another angle, or some comment by somebody. Say, oh, wow, I didn't think of it this way. This makes sense, like that, enriching ourselves. So he's saying that they did intensely disagree with each other. And he said that somebody mentioned that. This was very funny. He said they had this, the gladiator mein hota tha na, fights with the, all of us must have seen the movie Gladiator, or about them. The Roman times mein they used to fight, and usme to maar hi dalte the ek dusre ko. So gladiatorian combats used to happen in this debate ke liye bola unhone, without weapons and without killing each other. मतलब इतना strong debates होती थी. So but rule बनाए जाते थे उनमें. तो एक rule बहुत interesting था, which he said we all can learn from that rule. तो ये rule ये था कि जब debate हो रही है, तो I tell my view, हे मेरा ये है. The other person has to repeat what I said. Otherwise, he can't tell his view. See what I'm saying? He doesn't have to repeat in the exact words. He doesn't have to repeat everything I said. He has to say a summary of what I have said, and I have to agree with him before he can go forward. So he's saying, think about it. And why did they do that? Because they wanted the other person to listen carefully. That's the main thing. He's saying that what our problem is, we can learn this in today's debate. I think all of the people who are debating we should follow this rule, because very healthy rule. Because usually what happens is I'm so eager to tell my viewpoint. I'm just waiting. I'm not even listening. Mera turn kab aayega to main bolungi. Like that. So that's what he was saying, that it kind of encouraged listening. That's a very good point that he had. And then let's see some other thing. And he said that yes, that when you are challenged in a very strong way, you will be forced to refine your answers. And sometimes I've heard, I don't know the full detail, because when I heard that video, that if they could not come up with a conclusion, एक रेफरी होता था, राइट? तो वो डिसाइड करता था कि कौन जीता कौन हारा. कभी कभी नहीं होता था, बोलते वापस आएंगे हम लोग. So in the meantime, the person has to go and research more. That way. So he's saying that there were so many different schools of Buddhists, and this Madhyama, Nyaya, Vaisheshika. You must have heard Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, Vedanta and all that. And it seems that debating, I didn't know that. जब वो नालंदा यूनिवर्सिटी को डिस्ट्रॉय किया ना इन्होंने, मुसलमानों ने, तब वो डिबेट का सारा खत्म हो गया. पहले there was a system of debate it was so sad. Okay, so in that debate there was that Vaad, Jalp and Vitand. When Bhagwan said I am Vaad, but he kind of explained it very nicely. That's why I wanted to share it with you. So Vaad means, जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना वाद विवाद, किसी डिबेट को वाद विवाद बोलते हैं, debating or arguing. So that is one form of debate. And what is the form? Where the goal is to find the truth, like I mentioned, So discussion between, it can be teacher or taught, between reasonably balanced mutual thinkers. It can be, who just want to know the truth. And they will come to arrive at understanding, That's a good kind of thing. Jalp में उन्होंने क्या बोला कि when one person out of the debater decides to establish his own position and cut down the other side. मैं सही हूं या नहीं वो उसका गोल नहीं है, बट मैं सही अपने आप को प्रूव करना चाहता हूं और दूसरे को गलत प्रूव करना चाहता हूं. Search of truth is lost in that. And he's saying that lawyers do that in America. That they take each one takes their position and they say इसको मुझे defend करना है by किसी भी तरह से. So I thought that was a very good one that he explained, this jalp, what it is, like a lawyer. And so use all the techniques, logic, to cut down the other person and telling you about the other person. So this is what I thought, very good explanation of jalp. Vitand is something very interesting. Vitand is, you don't have a position. You have nothing to say, but you cut down the other person. That is Vitand. You say, hey, you are wrong. And the other guy might say, okay, Baba, if I'm wrong, you are very smart. Why don't you tell me what you think? I have nothing to say. That is Vitand. Very strange. So somebody might say, hey, that why would even somebody will use Vitand? And he said, some great people in the history have used Vitand. Which I was shocked about. He's saying that very sophisticated philosophers have done. And there's a reason why they did that. He's saying that one was that he told me, I heard, not told me in the lecture, that somebody named Sri Harsha. And मैंने थोड़ा सा research किया उसके, वो very interesting. He was some great philosopher who wrote some great kavyas and all that. He is the one who took this... and he was a Vedantin, non-dualist, okay? But the way he took the approach, Vitand wala, janbooch ke, he said, uske hisab se, okay? This person ke, Sri Harsha ke hisab se. He said, Vedant ko prove karne ki zarurat hi nahi hai. It's self-explanatory, okay? I don't need to worry about explaining people Vedanta because it is the truth. I just have to cut down everything else. So उसने कोई बुक लिखी, उसमें 27 चैप्टर्स थे, 27 Vitand है उसमें. Which is like amazing history that we don't learn about these things. He's saying that that's the approach he took. And the other guy who took you must have heard of Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna was a Buddhist philosopher, very famous one, I don't know which century he came, 2000 years ago or something like that. And he also has this approach of Vitand. Everything is shunya. All the philosophies are shunya, this, that. So like that. Anyway, I thought this was interesting history thing, but I kind of went a bit too far. The final thing is, Bhagwan said, forget about Vitand, forget about Jalp, do the Vaad, do the healthy dialogue, listen to each other, find the truth. That is my glory. Okay? So that's what it is. But in that process, we learned what other things were. Sometimes when we know the other thing, we can avoid it. I think so. What do you guys have to say?
Umaji, Vaad is in a way part of Dhyan Yoga.
Yes. So true. That's exactly right. If you want to progress in Jnana Yoga, you will have to do Vaad.
Absolutely.
Anybody who comes with the approach of Vitand and Jalp, they will not progress. But interesting enough, these people, for whatever reason they did it, but they were Jnani themselves. Okay? But Bhagwan doesn't encourage that.
Actually, Vitand is not really a bad approach because they are not saying anything. They are just telling the other guy, you are wrong, you are wrong, you are wrong, hoping that he'll go back and research and find the truth.
So, this is, now that you brought that up, very interesting point. Vitand way, the person can become very kind of get turned off. Somebody constantly attacking you, you will get turned off and you will not even want to learn. But if you do Vaad with that person, try to explain, listen to that person, say, okay, your approach, I see this and that. He might have a little more, inclination to approach the truth also. Think about it. Why Bhagwan said Vaad is more important? Because Bhagwan is all inclusive. He doesn't want, people to, just forget about this guy. I just have to prove him wrong. Bhaad mein jaye wo. Don't want that to take that approach. Hey, have a samvad. Maybe not today. Maybe another day he will think about it. And then somebody was saying that India में वो जो materialist है ना, उसको क्या बोलते हैं, चार्वकास. चार्वक जो था जिसने वो die hard materialism approach लिया था, खाओ पियो मजा करो, किसी भी तरह से चोरी भी करो तो भी मजा करो, something like that. I don't know the too much detail. उसको भी ऋषि माना गया है. उसके अप्रोच को भी, मतलब कितना इंक्लूसिव है. ये नहीं कि उसको सूली पे चढ़ा दो भाई दूसरे लोग. नो, ठीक है, उसका अपना ओपिनियन है तो ठीक, उसने अपने अपने क्या बोलते हैं लॉजिक दिए, किसी को वो फॉलो करना करो, as long as they are not hurting us, let them follow. Who cares, So there is a room for everybody. But I thought it was very interesting that why Bhagwan said that trying to find the truth in a healthy manner, listening to each other, having a healthy dialogue is the best way. So. Okay, no comment, no question. So I can close Bhagavad Gita here. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhya moksha ishyami ma shuchah. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.